Bro goes home, he's stressed, and he's like, fuck, that's the thought police, bro. I'm gonna get locked up, I'm gonna get fucking popped, bro. He tripping out, right? He's stressed. He's like, fuck.
HDTV.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy HDTV coming back to you with another video. So I just finished up reading 1984, gang. Alright, this book number 1 of 2025. I did finish it like a week ago, but I couldn't make the recordings, shit just got in the way and shit, right? So story not like fresh in the head, but I'm still gonna try to get that summary and shit, alright? So I wanted to read this book just understanding sort of the state of the world right now, right? I feel like there's a lot of things that this book points to and kind of warns us about where society might lead, right, in this like dystopian future and everything. I feel like there's a lot of things that we could kind of look at this book for and kind of see it implemented in today. I feel like the book in general made me really look at society, look at the government, look at just like the world, bro, right? And you kind of just look at shit through a different lens. It's like a good reality check, and it really just makes you think about the bigger picture. You know what I mean? Because I feel like we get so caught up in our day-to-day life, which is good and bad. It's got its pros, its cons. I just feel like at times, sometimes you take that step back and really look at shit on a grander scale and just realize like, fuck, bro, we're the common man. You know what I mean? There's so many other fucking bigger players involved that have such an influence on our lives that we never even fucking think about. So the story starts out, right? We got our boy Winston Smith, right? Regular ad dude, he like us, he us gang, you know what I mean? And he working for the party, right? So now this is sort of like the big government that's kind of running society, right? Whatever they say goes. The head of it's kind of Big Brother, right? You got pictures of Big Brother everywhere. You got that whole concept, Big Brother always watching you. That's sort of how the societies run, right? There's kind of telescreens everywhere that kind of give you information at the same time. They're recording you, right? Now, whatever the parties say kind of goes, right? So parties say you got to do 5 jumping jacks, you got to do 5 jumping jacks, gang. They want your blind loyalty to the party. The way things are kind of set up society-wise, you got, members of the outer party, which is like Winston, right? So he kind of like the underlings of the government. Then you got the members of the inner party, the higher ups and shit. And then you got, Big Brother at the very top. But 85% of society is the proles, right? These motherfuckers just the common man. They doing the mundane jobs. They living in kind of mundane society and all that shit, right? Winston's kind of one level above them. He works for the party. He has those kind of benefits that the proles don't really have. He's living kind of like that better life, a little bit, a little bit more lavish and shit. He chilling, right? He getting them checks and everything, government issue checks and shit, right? Thing is, our boy, he not really down with the party like that. You know what I mean? He kind of like, they moving kind of shifty and shit. So he kind of, he's sleeping with one eye open and everything, right? He's really starting to question the party a lot. He's starting to kind of have these thoughts that could get him in trouble, right? One of them being, he went out and he got like a diary that he writes in now. And that's not really something that he could go around and talk about, right? That shit gonna get him locked up. He worried about the thought police. Thought police like this fucking organization that enforces you to kind of stay in line, gang, right? They making sure you not trouble. You know what I mean? So that's how we're kind of starting the story out, right? Winston, he's starting to question shit, right? He not really fucking with the party like that no more. But he still got to go through the motions, right? He still got to clock in, clock out every day, right? But he's kind of taking smaller risks now, right? Like I said, getting that diary, right? Keeping that diary. So when it comes to what Winston does at work, right? Of course, like he a government motherfucker, right? He a fed ass. The government tells them to update the records and he goes and updates the records. What do I mean by that? If you remember earlier, I said whatever the party say goes, right? There's a bunch of instances in the book where, pieces of information change. There's the whole concept of like, who are we at war with? And for like a long period of the book, they're against Eurasia, but then they flip it and now they're saying that they're against East Asia, right? So when it comes to Winston, he's gonna go in and tweak that one piece of information whenever that opposing body changes. And it's going to be as if that was always the case, right? Even though it wasn't, right? Thing is, no one really has like a solid memory anymore. Plus, no one is really locked in like that. You know what I mean? They really keep track of what's actually kind of going on because they're so fucking numb. But I'll get into it. So just keeping with our boy. One day he goes out, right? He wants to go into the town a bit more. Go talk to like the locals and shit. He kind of has this goal where he wants to find an old-timey motherfucker, right? Say what up to him and get the histories of how shit was back in the day. Like I said, history has kind of been altered by the party, right? So Winston really just wants to go out and see if, You know, is this shit true? Or have they been lying about it, right? So he wants to go to an old-timey motherfucker, say what up to him, see how was the childhood like? You know, was it like XYZ? Or was it like ABC? You know, you let me know. Winston goes into a bar, talks to an old-timey motherfucker. Old-timey motherfucker, he just fucking headed out. Can't reply to shit. Winston's like, alright, fuck it, he gets out of there, right? Now our boy goes into Mr. Charrington's fucking shop. Mr. Charrington is who he got the diary from, right? So he goes back in, sees some shit, grabs some shit, goes upstairs, sees a room, and then he's kind of leaving, right? As he's getting out of there, we got Shorty Low kind of fucking spying on him, right? She a member of the party, but he kind of clocks her, but then she kind of dips the scene, quick styles, right? Bro goes home, he's stressed, and he's like, fuck, that's the thought police, bro. I'm gonna get locked up, I'm gonna get fucking popped, bro. He tripping out, right? He's stressed. He's like, fuck. Next day, right, Winston walking, he goes into work, sees Shorty Low, boom, falls on her face, right? Winston goes to help her. She kind of getting up, slips bro a note. Winston pockets the note. He's like, alright, on to the next thing. She kind of dips the scene. He's stressing out. Now, he at work, right? He slowly opens a note, reads the note. I love you. What? I'm like, what the fuck? Random ass Shorty saying she love our boy. Bro sort of tripping out. He sort of pawned, but he don't know what to do, right? Over time, he kind of gets a way of talking to Shorty, right? They kind of do it low key, but she's like, meet me here. They go meet there. She kind of give him information. She kind of tells him, yo, meet me at this location on this date. Pull up, right? He ends up going out, right? It's all kind of risky. He worried, right? But he's like, alright, fuck it, let's do it. She knows what's going on, right? She know more than me. She telling me go here. I'm gonna go here. I'm trying to guess some. That's what he think about, right? They go meet up somewhere far out, right? Abandoned ass area and shit. They get right to it, gang. They start talking a little awkward and shit, right? She kind of confesses, like, it's fuck the party on my side too. He's like, it's fuck the party on my side too, right? So they're like, it's all good. She been doing some sneaky shit, and he just kind of get into it. He's like, alright, we good, right? They get a little freaky and shit. They start doing their thing, right? But it's happy days, right? That's what it seems like. So you got this kind of forbidden love story going on. They be sneaking around just to see each other and shit, right? At the back of their minds, they're like, fuck, they gonna kill us for this shit, ain't they? She's like, yeah, but fuck it, right? At a certain point, he goes back to Mr. Charrington, you know, the shop owner where he got the diary and everything. They start renting out the room I mentioned that, you know, he peeped and everything. And they just be fucking in that motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? That's just what it's for, gang. They gotta get their shit off somewhere, you know what I'm saying? So they rented the motherfucking room and shit. He be trusting Mr. Charrington. There's no fucking telescreens in that motherfucker, right? They feeling safe. They think they good. Now, Winston kind of looks up to O'Brien, right? He sees that guy as someone like him. He's like, he kind of against the party too, but of course they could never talk about it, right? But he's like, nah, he with me, right? So one day he bumps into O'Brien. O'Brien kind of gives him a little 1-2 conversation, gives him his address. He's like, yo, pull up, you ain't get the files, blah, 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 whatever, right? This is crazy because in this society, no one really knows where each other lives, right? Because it's so kind of secluded and everything. And, you know, everybody's watching you, so, like, the day you kind of get out of routine or whatever is considered normal, they're on your ass. So he gets the Addy, and he's like, alright, let's go. Tells his fucking Shorty. Shorty name is Julia, by the way. Julia and Winston, they go to O'Brien's crib, right? O'Brien lets him in, and first thing he does, turns off the telescreen, right? And Winston's like, yo, shit, you can do that? He's like, yeah, we inner party, we lit like this. We got privileges, right? Right out the gate, Winston starts confessing everything to this motherfucker, gang. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? That's how I'm genuinely feeling when I'm first reading it, right? He starts telling him, he's like, yo, fuck the party. We with the Brotherhood. The Brotherhood sort of like the rebellion side of the motherfuckers, right? Telling him, he's like, me and her, we together. We be fucking in fucking X crib. We doing this, we doing that. Fuck everything. My life in your hands. I'm like, get this motherfucker out of here, gang. You know what I mean? How you just gonna trust a motherfucker? You ain't fucking, he ain't say 3 words to you, gang. You gonna trust him already, gang? Oh, fuck, bro. That's when I knew it was raps, gang. But you go on with the story, and of course, O'Brien a snake, gang. O'Brien gives him a book saying it's from the Brotherhood, right? The rebelling side of the government. Winston and Julia go to, you know, that's their secret room and everything. He's reading the book. Next thing you know, boom, it's lit with ops. Straight policia everywhere, gang. Turns out, Mr. Charrington was a snake too, gang. He's the one that fucking let him know everything. He was thought police, gang. He an undercover motherfucker, gang. He got him. He got him. Now, Julia locked up. Winston locked up. Separate, right? They don't know. They haven't seen each other. Winston fucking in the prison with hella motherfuckers. Then he's alone in the prison. And bro, it's just abuse after torture after starvation, bro. They fuck our boy up, gang. Straight torturing a motherfucker for like a third of the book, bro. And it's crazy because they just having these ideological fucking philosophy battles back and forth. O'Brien and fucking Winston and shit, right? The whole concept of what they're doing is trying to break him. They don't want to kill him, bro. They want to break him down. Turn his brain into mush and just make him like a blind supporter to the party, bro. And they do it, gang. Our boy comes out of there fucked up. Bro meets Julia at one point, but it's not the same, right? They fucked up, gang. And that's how the story ends. He loves Big Brother, gang. I feel like the story went in a direction I wasn't expecting, to be honest, right? I did not think there'd be a love story in this motherfucker. I thought it'd just be our boy kind of joining the rebellion, then fucking taking down the government or some shit, right? And kind of end in like a happy ending or whatever the fuck. This shit was kind of somber, gang. This shit kind of, I feel like adding the love story, I think I was taken back at first, but then I'm like, fuck, right? That's the human story, gang. Like, I feel like love definitely had to be a part of it. One of those books that really makes you question the government, question their loyalties, question their fucking goals, right? Like, what do they want? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, shit like that. I feel like there's like hella moments throughout the story that I kind of just want to look back on and talk about for a second, because they kind of made me think of some shit. So let's break it down. There's an instance where the party kind of makes a statement saying that the chocolate ration is going from 30 grams to 20 grams, right? It comes down to Winston to kind of make the edit within like the documents and the records and everything, where the government previously stated that there would be no reduction in the chocolate ration. Now Winston was gonna go in and fucking say there's probably gonna be a reduction down to 20 grams, just so everything seems legit and it doesn't seem like, you know, shit's in a bad place. They want society to think that everything is going as planned. The second you tell them, yo, the chocolate ration went down, now you're like, fuck, food is scarce. You know, what are the scenes? People start freaking out a little bit, right? So they want to go back and be like, that was always the plan, just so no one freaks out. So that just makes me think about how important it is to document shit and really keep track of things. Because you never want to be in a situation where you can be lied to like this, right? So, you know, you gotta be on your game for this shit, gang. I feel like the government sometimes wants to numb you, right? Make you feel like everything's okay, everything's gonna be okay. I understand they come in from the place where, like, they want you to not worry about these things. But at the same time, it's like, bro, we should know about what's going on, gang. Another thing that was crazy was them talking about how a lot of the entertainment for the public is mechanical music, sports, crime, astrology. They're also pushing porn heavy, right, for the younger fucking demographic. They make a point to say that the people that are making the porn aren't allowed to watch it, right? Further kind of talking about how detrimental something like that can be on a society. And it was interesting that they'd say mechanical music, right? Thinking about how AI is on the rise right now. But again, to the porn side of shit, right? I feel like porn is definitely an issue within society right now. It's fucking everywhere, bro. It's on IG. I really feel like that's detrimental to the youth, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like porn addiction is kind of on the rise with the youth, man. And like I said, it's just so easy to access right now. I feel like people are finding it at younger ages. You know, once you kind of start, it's hard to stop, right? Like any other addiction. The government may be pushing something like that on society just to numb the youth, especially the young man in society, gang, right? So we really gotta fucking watch out for this type of shit, bro. They wanna make us so weak to the point where we would never even consider rebelling against the government. You know what I'm saying? There's also a point to state that there's a lot of statistics that come up on the telescreens, right, throughout the story. Kind of talking about how a lot of the stats are indicating that life is better today compared to previous years. That's such a fucked up way to keep people down, right? Just making them believe that today's the best it's gonna get, or the best it's ever been, and you be living like shit because, you know, their conditions are whack, bro. It's just that, you know, subtle form of manipulation over the society that's fucked. Winston even makes a point to talk about how a lot of the party members, the people within the government pocket, they were quite small, dark, ill-favored, little dumpy men, growing stout very early in life, with short legs, swift scuttling movements, and fat, inscrutable faces, with very small eyes. I think they're trying to say some shit about Asian motherfuckers with that one, gang. I ain't gonna lie. So nobody fit, bro. Sort of like, you know, the weaker side of society are the ones that are working for the government, gang. I feel like that's, again, interesting when you think about the young male demographic, right? They want us to be fat, gang. They want us to be dumb. They want us to be weak at the end of the day. We not doing that, gang. We gonna be out here. We gonna be hitting the gym, gang. Remember that shit. There's also a big push for party members to stay pure. right? Like, don't indulge in some sexual acts, shit like that. But on the other hand, when you think about the common man, right? The pros in this case, promiscuity was encouraged, divorce was allowed, and they would allow them to kind of have religion as well if they gravitated towards it. Because there's kind of a point in the story where they say, you know, this is kind of like a godless society. And just think about today now with everything that I just said, right? Again, promiscuity everywhere, gang. Divorce rates high as fuck. And it does feel like a lot of people are slipping out of religion, kind of going atheist, things like that. You can just look to Hollywood and how fucking everybody a devil worshiper, bro. Crazy shit going on, man. Another thing when it comes to like the pros within society, they romanticize the lottery so much. Kind of like a form of entertainment for them. There's also a point made within the story talking about how, you know, someone may win, but it's kind of all government controlled, bro. The winner could be it's fake at the end of the day, right? They don't have to give out that money. But everyone's going to continue to play, think they got a chance, right? You keep them fucking in the rat race, gang. They just consumed by that shit. Throughout the story, there's also these random bombs that are dropped within the town where the common folk live, the pros, right? And Julia, at a certain point, is kind of like, yo, the government probably dropping the motherfuckers on their own people just to keep people scared, right? Because within this society, they're always in a state of war. And I feel like when society is at war, that's when we kind of look to the government the most, right? In the sense of like, we want them to win the war at the end of the day, right? You know, wartime is going on. We just want to be safe at the end of the day. So with them kind of dropping these bombs strategically, letting people know that the war is still going on, right? There is this threat, but then looking to themselves, kind of putting themselves, the government in this case, on the pedestal that they do and being like, nah, don't worry, we got it. And everyone has no choice but to look at the government and be like, yes, please, thank you, you know, you fucking saved us, whatever the case may be. There's also this crazy instance in the story where Oceania, which is the area that Winston guys are all living in and shit, they change the enemy from Eurasia to East Asia. This happens among a crowd of people, right fucking on a flip of a dime. The whole shit changes. There's some calamity amongst the crowd, but then it quickly gets flipped to blame the Brotherhood. They fucking pulled a fast one on us, trying to tell us that it was Eurasia, but nah, it's East Asia this whole time. And it's like, what? And it's like the people kind of bought it, bro. And it's like, how brainwashed can the society be to the point where 1 second know that the enemy is Eurasia, and to just fucking flip on a dime and be like, oh no, it was East Asia the whole fucking time. Like, just yesterday you would have said the enemy's Eurasia, and now you gotta say it's East Asia, and you gotta say that it's been East Asia the whole fucking time. But to you as a person in that situation, right, you're so fucking brainwashed that you're like, it was East Asia the whole time. That concept is so fucking scary, bro. But it makes me think about how brain rot is a thing right now, right? Personally speaking, right, I'd be lying to you if I said my memory was fucking strong as shit, gang. It's not. My memory ass, bro. I'd be forgetting shit fucking 5 minutes into me saying I'm gonna do something. I'm like, fuck, what did I say I was gonna do? I don't even know. So that's kind of worrying, just cause that's an element from the story that I can see happening in real time, bro. We got the memory of a goldfish, bro. Everyone in society got the memory of a fucking goldfish, gang. There's also this crazy point made within the story about how the proles, the common folk, they are the humans, while members of the party, like Winston, he recognized that they're the ones that are kind of soulless in a way. Winston kind of sees that the common folk have each other at the end of the day, right? They have their families, people to care about. A sense of community is still within them. He recognizes that members of the party are sort of soulless. They have kind of blind loyalties to the party. And it's like party members aren't really friends, right? They kind of got no life outside of the work life. So he's kind of recognizing that the pros still have that sense of community, keeping them human, right? They're not loyal to the party. They're loyal to each other, right? They're loyal to the fucking mailman they see every day. They're loyal to fucking their neighbors, right? Their family, their fucking extended family, all that shit, right? They still have that amongst themselves. Whereas members of the party, following Winston throughout the story, motherfuckers be lonely, gang. They ain't got nobody. As you start to really see what's going on within society when it comes to the wars and shit, right? You got Oceania, Eurasia, East Asia. They're all basically kind of these super states now, right? Like a lot of the continents are kind of bulged into these kind of different pockets. And this war that they always talk about is just for this kind of wasteland where the people of that wasteland, they're just being controlled from dictator to dictator to dictator, whoever's got that piece of land and who's holding that land down at the time, right? Sometimes Oceania and East Asia will link up. Sometimes Oceania and Eurasia will link up. That's why the war enemy changes, and they gotta kind of fucking flip that every single time. But it's for this fucking wasteland where the people are just treated like slaves, gang. And to them, they know nothing else, right? So it doesn't matter who the fuck's in charge because they're gonna be abused anyway. A lot of this war shit also halted like a lot of scientific progress. It kind of kept them down in a way. Because you know when like war is kind of going on, a lot of resources are kind of funneled into supporting the war on whatever front, right? So that's kind of fucked up society, held society back a little bit. But at the same time, it's kind of advanced all of their tech. In the war space, they mentioned that there's like natural disaster tech, submarines that kind of go underground, flying ships and shit. Another point that's sort of made in the book is, since the war is going on so much, there's a bunch of crazy shit that be going on. Like, there's a lot of sketchy kind of laws that are approved, whether it be something like imprisonment without trial, the use of war prisoners as slaves, public executions. That shit's all kind of been okayed now. Talking about public executions specifically, right? I remember reading Count of Monte Cristo, and they're just in Italy, and they talk about how there was going to be an execution and whether they wanted to go see it or not, shit like that. So that is something that they used to do, bro. I can see them wanting to bring that back during this kind of time period and what's going on with the war and shit, just to inspire, I guess, patriotism among society, right? Because you got this enemy and you say, hey, come watch this motherfucker get beheaded. And now you got everybody ganged up, they ready to go, they gonna see this motherfucker get hanged. And it's the enemy, so everybody's like in groupthink, everybody's kind of linked up. Everybody is cheering together, right? It's unity as they are excited to see this motherfucker get beheaded. Here's a crazy fucking sentence I read. All past oligarchies have fallen from power either because they ossified or because they grew soft. Either they became stupid and arrogant, failed to adjust themselves to changing circumstances, and were overthrown, or they became liberal and cowardly. Interesting use of the word liberal in this case, you know what I mean? I feel like the West has gone quite liberal, and I wonder if we're paying the price, gang. Later on, when Winston gets locked up, there's another guy that he knows. He's kind of like, hey, yo, why the fuck you in here, right? And he's like, when I was kind of doing my job, I left the word God within like the records or whatever. That's kind of what he thinks got him locked up. And again, that's just fucked, the way they want to suppress ideas of God, right? Anyone above the party can't exist. Another crazy fucking line. Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. Crazy shit, gang. And now the party controls fucking all the time, bro. That makes me think about how they say the winners are the ones that write history. And understanding our history is so important, bro. We need to be aware of how things were so we can always compare them to what's going on today. Another concept near the end of the book, where does the past exist, right? And Winston kind of mentions it's whether it's in the records or it's in our minds, right? And then you think about how the party has kind of attacked those two things, right? The records being, they just got motherfuckers rewriting the records every fucking second of the day, right? Just to align with whatever they want the truth to be. When it comes to the memories, brain rot, gang. Nobody even fucking knows what happened yesterday for them to give a fuck about anything, really. Now here's a crazy passage that our boy O'Brien says to Winston. You are a flaw in the pattern, Winston. You are a stain that must be wiped out. You are a flaw in the pattern, Winston. You are a stain that must be wiped out. Did I not tell you just now that we are different from the persecutors of the past? We are not content with negative obedience, nor even with the most abject submission. When finally you surrender to us, it must be of your own free will. We do not destroy the heretic because he resists us. So long as he resists us, we never destroy him. We convert him. We capture his inner mind. We reshape him. We burn all evil and all illusion out of him. We bring him over to our side, not in appearance, but genuinely, heart and soul. We make him one of ourselves before we kill him. It is intolerable to us that an enormous thought should exist anywhere in the world, however secret and powerless it may be. Even in the instant of death, we cannot permit any deviation. In the old days, the heretic walked to the stake still a heretic, proclaiming his heresy, exulting in it. Even the victim of the Russian purges could carry rebellion locked up in his skull as he walked down the passage waiting for the bullet. But we make the brain perfect before we blow it out. The command of old despotism was thou shalt not. The command of totalitarians was thou shalt. Our command is thou art. No one whom we bring to this place ever stands out against us. Everyone is washed clean. Even those 3 miserable traitors in whose innocence you once believed, Jones, Aronson, and Rutherford, in the end we broke them down. I took part in their interrogation myself. I saw them gradually worn down, whimpering, groveling, weeping. And in the end it was not with pain or fear, only with penitence. By the time we had finished with them, they were only the shells of men. There was nothing left in them except sorrow for what they had done and love of Big Brother. It was touching to see how they loved him. They begged to be shot quickly so that they could die while their minds were still clean. Here's another crazy passage, bro. So this is Winston thinking about why the party wants power. It sought power because men in the mass were frail, cowardly creatures who could not endure liberty or face the truth, and must be ruled over the system and systematically deceived by others who were stronger than themselves. That the choice for mankind lay between freedom and happiness, and that for the great bulk of mankind, happiness was better. I feel like that's a big statement on society right now. Right, I feel like a lot of people would kind of choose hedonism over getting shit done. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people are lazy as fuck. I feel like everyone's a consumer. I feel like brain rot is big. I feel like no one's got an attention span. I feel like men are being encouraged to be weak. Men are kind of being suppressed. I feel like society today, in a lot of ways, not in all ways, may be foreshadowing the future, gang. Like I said, there's a lot of key similarities that the book mentions that are genuinely going on right now. So if shit's already in motion, how far is it gonna go? Are we as a society capable of standing up to Big Brother, gang? Would we even want to fucking stand up to Big Brother? This was a good ass book, gang. I highly recommend everyone go read that shit. It really sat with me for a lot of days. Just, I was just thinking about it. I feel like it definitely aligns with kind of like the mission I be on right now. You know what I mean? I feel like it's a decent wake up call, decent reminder that you gotta keep pushing, keep learning, keep getting better. Makes you really value your privacy. Makes you want to work on your memory, gang. I feel like I really want to sharpen up the memory box, gang. I don't know how that gonna work, but I feel like reading is a decent step in that direction. I think my next book's gonna be White Nights by Fyodor Dostoevsky. My bad on the mispronunciation, gang. I think that book's kind of about loneliness or something. Another thing I feel like is big in society right now, gang. I feel like a lot of us be disconnected. What you guys think of the book? Have you read it? I know I kind of fucking spoiled most of that shit, gang, but I still encourage you to read it, gang. You know what I mean? It's the act of reading that's important, Leave your thoughts, your theories about the book in the comment section below. Any other kind of similarities within 1984 society and our society that I might have missed. I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys chasing your success. Stay healthy, guys. It's been your boy HDTV. Peace.